I stand before you to officially launch my campaign for a second term as President of the United States. I can promise you that I will never, ever let you down. We went through the greatest witch hunt in political history. Can you imagine if I got a subpoena, if I deleted one email like a love note to Melania? It's the electric chair for Trump. A vote for any Democrat in 2020 is a vote for the rise of radical socialism and the destruction of the American dream. You ready? Keep America great.
The president did a little live polling there last night to see how folks felt about his new campaign slogan. President Trump making it official, of course, launching his 2020 campaign for a second term in front of a massive crowd in Florida. His announcement coming almost 4 years to the day from his first presidential campaign. So how will Trump 2020 be different from Trump 2016? Joining us now is Kevin Walling. He's Democratic strategist, and Brian Trascher from the Trump Victory Finance Committee. Thank you both for joining us. We appreciate it.
Good morning, Heather.
So, Brian, I will start with you. First of all, what did you think about last night, and how will this roll out to be different than 2016?
First of all, thanks for having me. It's good timing because I haven't been to sleep yet. But going on the differences between 2016 and 2020, Donald Trump was a significant fundraising disadvantage in 2016 behind Hillary Clinton. She had used a lot of her influence as Secretary of State and being a former senator, former candidate for president, to have a tremendous fundraising advantage. Now in 2020, President Trump has that fundraising advantage. The top 5 Democrat contenders within their first 24 hours of announcing for president raised a combined total of $15 million. President Trump, by the time he announced last night, had already surpassed that and is going to crush that number. And if I'm wrong about that, I'll come back on your show and Kevin can shave my head.
No, I was well, I don't know if we want to go that far. But I was reading actually that the president had raised up to $100 million so far. So when you're talking about that amount of money, Kevin, I mean, the president can do a lot with that.
Yeah, Heather, it's an impressive amount, but to your original point, I mean, not much has changed in the 4 years since he rode down that escalator, right? He's still talking about crooked Hillary. He's still talking about drain the swamp, and he's not really providing a vision for the next 4 years. And I think that's going to hurt him over the next 500 days as we litigate this November election. I have so many friends and family members that voted for this president, looking for a change, looking for someone to mix up the system, to tackle health care, to take on immigration. And the fact that he hasn't delivered on those priorities means that he has to make Democrats the boogeyman, take the fight to them, and not run on a record over these 2.5 years.
Yeah, Brian, or it shows that he needs another 4 years to accomplish all of that, which is part of what he was saying. And he did get into some details as he got further into the speech. Let's take a look at this poll, though. This is specifically to Florida, the 2020 presidential preference in Florida. 50% show Joe Biden, over 41% for Donald Trump. That is a Quinnipiac poll. And then compare that to 2016, though. The presidential election predicted Clinton winning Florida, 50% to Donald Trump, 49%. And as we know, Brian, they were wrong last time. Are they wrong this time, too?
Yeah, well, I think we learned a lot about the polling business in 2016. They were all wrong. Basically, Donald Trump became president when the day before, I think it was Nate Silver, who's supposed to be the prodigy pollster, said that Hillary Clinton had a 99% chance of winning. I want to go back to something that Kevin said. This president actually has delivered on his promises. 5.8 million new jobs. That's like 3/4 of the jobs that the Obama administration produced in 8 years. President Trump's only been at it a little over 2.5 years. About 10% of those jobs are manufacturing jobs. Obama had a net loss of 200,000 jobs during his 8 years, and he said it would take a magic wand to bring those jobs back. Well, I've got news for President Obama and his fans. President Trump found that magic wand because all 57 states are booming.
Yeah, and actually, when he talked about jobs, getting into that, and specifically, you know, he only mentioned Biden and he mentioned Bernie last night. Bernie, when it comes to socialism, and we can, I think, bring up that SOT and what he said in reference to socialism last night.
Yeah,
Do we
well,
have that?
you know,
actually,
Joe
we don't
Biden,
have that. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, no,
Well,
Joe Biden is going to flame out like he always has. Bernie Sanders went from, in 2016, being the left-wing fringe candidate to now being the Democrat Party's standard bearer. He will be their nominee. I think that deal was cut right after the 2016 election. And I think, look, I Googled Kevin before we came on. He's a talented guy, and his party's lucky to have him. But I don't even think he would want to get behind any of the 23 occupants of the clown car that are the Democrat field this time.
There
but I'd
are
like to
a
hear what he
lot.
has to
I'll
say.
give you that. Kevin, I want you to respond to this. So that
Yeah.
we do have that sound now, and then I want you to
Sure.
respond.
A vote for any Democrat in 2020 is a vote for the rise of radical socialism and the destruction of the American dream.
So, Kevin, your response.
Yeah, to Brian's point, I get behind any of the 23 candidates running, even the self-help guru over this president. You know, Brian, to your point, more jobs were created in the final year of the Obama administration than in the first year of the Trump administration. So the fact, I'm happy to go toe-to-toe on economic indicators and the tremendous job growth created under the Obama-Biden administration. Again, to the president's point, you know, he's got to make the Democrats the boogeyman, right? So he's talking about radical socialism. He's talking about they're coming for your jobs and your guns when he doesn't have a record to run on. We're happy to have that fight. We're happy to litigate
Kevin,
it over
you
the next
can't
500.
deny that, though. We have to wrap this up, but you cannot deny that the economic numbers under this president so far
Heather,
in the first 2 years are outstanding.
Heather,
and you can take a look at all the individual groups, the subgroups, when it comes to women, when it comes to millennials, when it comes to Black Americans, Latino Americans, which is very important to the state of Florida.
Heather, the economy
up.
is going gangbusters. The economy is going gangbusters. We can't win that argument on the economy alone. But the fact that this president hasn't crossed 50% in his approval ratings shows that the American people believe the economy is going strong, but he's not the best steward of it.
All right. Well, we will see what happens. Big night last night, though. Kevin and Brian, thank you both for joining us.
Thanks, Heather.
All
Thanks
right.
for having me.
Have a great day.